All right, welcome to The Topic Is Yours. Thank you for tuning in this week. Happy Halloween. We've got a Halloween episode on tap for you. Jason at the Movies, he joins us to talk to us about some Halloween scary movies that you should watch or not watch, depending on your taste. Chara, the storyteller, she stops by in segment 2, and she spooks us out with a scary story, so we're in for a treat on that one. And then finally, we wrap things up with a mailbag. We've got an assortment of voicemails. Clint chooses his favorite, and we respond to it, and it's a good one. So stick around to the very end. Clint, let's go ahead and roll it. All right, welcome back to The Topic Is Yours, Season 2, Episode 2. So happy to have you with us. Appreciate you being here. Good news today, Jason Black. Well, we may have to edit that part out.
No, you can.
We can't? Oh, okay, cool. Jason Black, otherwise known as Jason at the Movies. He's back with us by popular demand. We received so much positive input and feedback on his episode. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to it, go back. It's in Season 1. I think, what was it, Clint? Was it 8, 9, something like that?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Titled,
8 or 9.
Yeah, titled Jason at the Movies, so check that one out. Also, don't forget, of course, we've talked about this before, but follow us on Facebook, tweet us. As you know, we've opened up our phone lines. They're popping. They are popping at 405-730-8672, otherwise known as 730-TOPC. Give us a call. Leave us a voicemail. We've received several voicemails. 1 or 2 will make the final cut. That's up to Clint. We're going to determine that here in the final segment, otherwise known as the mailbag. So stay tuned for that. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. You're talking to me?
You're leaving me alone there. I'm surrounded by people. No one responds to me.
I'm watching love. You just got done talking to the audience. Happy Halloween, Dave.
I'm talking to you, man.
Thanks for being here, Dave.
Thank you. This is going to be a great show. All right, so anyway, happy Halloween. Jason, thanks for being back.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. Happy Halloween, Dave. I didn't know if I was allowed to talk yet or not, so I was trying to be quiet.
You are always allowed to talk.
Well, I'm not
show.
worried about you. It's Clint that I'm worried about. Gets nervous when I start talking.
Right. So, Jason, okay, we talked about this before. You're a movie critic.
Yes.
For what station here in town?
Well, my home station is KJ103, but I'm syndicated all across the country, so you can, find me on your FM dial.
All over the country.
Yeah, right.
All over the place.
Just do a Google search.
I love it. And we did this previously on your prior episode, but you've done several things. You're involved with several different organizations.
Yep.
And just do everything. So
Okay. President of the Oklahoma Film Critics Circle. I should get that right, shouldn't I? I'm the president. I'm also a member of the BFCA, which is the Broadcast Film Critics Association, and a member of the BTJA, which is the Broadcast Television Journalists Association. And that may be it. I can't remember.
There's more. But specifically, one of the key things is that you can actually vote for the Critics' Choice Awards and attend the Critics' Choice Awards.
We're starting to get screeners, getting movies in the mail.
Nice.
Got Logan the other day.
Oh, it's a good movie.
Really good, yeah. So, I mean,
pretty dark.
I got Beauty and the Beast yesterday. The kids were excited. So, yeah, we're getting some movies.
Great. Clint's going to invite himself
over.
Oh,
I know.
To check
This
it out.
guy can't keep him away from the Disney movies.
Wow. That's good to know. So, being that it's Halloween, we thought it'd be fun to talk about Halloween movies.
Yeah, we should. Now, is that specifically horror movies or movies that just take place around Halloween?
Well, that's a good question.
Because that would maybe limit it to only the Halloween series. I don't know.
Yeah, that good point. What do you think, Clint? This is really your idea.
Let's
do horror, right?
Let's cast a wide net.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go wide. What's some good classic movies? You're a critic.
Yeah.
What's like a top 3, top 5 list of movies that we could watch?
Well, to me, the scariest movie of all time is The Exorcist. I think it holds up. I think it's completely frightening. I think that even though it was made so long ago, sometimes that you watch it now and you go, why did anyone think this was scary? But I still think The Exorcist is really scary. I think probably just because of my age, Scream is one of my favorite scary movies.
Yeah.
I think just at the age that it came out, it started the whole thing of sort of poking fun at yourself. I mean, it was really more of a satire on horror movies, but it was done really, really well.
It still was scary.
Oh, yeah, frightening. And then also, like, I don't know if this is considered a horror movie. I think it might be, but Silence of the Lambs, which is probably more of a thriller.
Yeah.
But I watched that a couple of months ago.
What was the Halloween tie-in there?
Just horror.
Just death.
Just horror? Okay.
Well, because it's a serial killer, and I think Clint's talking us
Have
out
you
of
seen
that.
the movie, Clint?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
holds up. You should watch it.
It
Because
definitely
it's
holds
really,
up.
it is a Best Picture. And it was 91, I think, 92, 93. I can't remember. But it's really good. It still is really good.
Dave still talks about the part where the guy dances.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Yes.
Walked in on him doing
I'll
it.
tell you what, that holds up, guys.
Yeah,
That
in more ways
holds
than
up
one.
well, yeah.
I've got to add The Shining to that list. That's one of my favorites.
Shining, yeah, it's good. It's so bizarre though. It's so like there's that guy in the dog costume in the room out of nowhere.
I don't remember that. That is a good movie, though.
The twins,
Yeah, those twins
the
are
twin
scary.
girls.
They're scary.
Yeah, Shining's a good one. What about you, Dave? You
I don't like scary movies.
Yeah.
Like, I just legitimately don't. I saw Children of the Corn. I'll never forget this. I was over at like a friend's, like a sleepover birthday party type of thing. We watched two movies. We watched Terminator 2, which was incredible. I loved it because I was like, I don't know. I was young. I was really young.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And I think that movie holds up
it
pretty
does.
well.
It's still cool.
And then we
the effects.
followed it up with Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
I had my head in my sleeping bag the whole time. I get so scared.
Yeah.
I'm a little wimp when it comes to scary. I admit it.
Did you know the director of Children of the Corn up until recently was a professor at OCU?
No.
Fritz Kirsch.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, he was right here in Oklahoma.
Wow. Well, that guy ruined my childhood.
Yeah.
I've never seen this, but I've heard that It is really scary.
Yeah, gosh, you guys are saying I'm a movie critic and I haven't even seen it, and I need to, and I have heard nothing but good things.
Yeah.
So I need to go see it because I need to see it. But yeah, I've heard it's good.
Yeah, but it's just so scary. I mean, again, Clint, I just hate scary movies. So this is your idea. I want you to carry this thing for me because I have really nothing to contribute other than just my fear. You know what I mean?
You would like movies like Ernest Scared Stupid, I think.
You should see that new Medea movie, Boo. I saw the first one. I haven't seen the second
The
one.
Medea movie?
Oh yeah,
That's up my alley right there. That's my kind of thing.
It's frighteningly unfunny, but yeah.
Excellent. All right, so let's say we've got some parents in the audience. Are there any scary movies or any Halloween movies that we could take the kids to? I mean, like I think of like Scared Shrekless. Like the Shrek.
Oh, sure. Well,
those
those are like
kinds.
specials, that come on. Those are always good. They've done a good job with animation lately. Like for instance, Hotel Transylvania 2. Those are both good
Those are
movies.
funny.
Yeah, they're funny. They have a horror element to it, at least a Halloween element with the monsters to it. So that's a good one. Of course, you've always got Monsters Inc., which maybe a little bit lighter than like a Transylvania Hotel Transylvania, but still, or Monsters University. So those are good. As far as movies go, I saw Ghostbusters in the first grade, but I don't know that I would let my my fourth grader watch it because I think that it might be too scary. But, back then, who knew?
It is totally too scary.
Yeah.
We tried that.
Okay.
I think that was before was that before the PG-13 rating was actually established?
It was right in the middle of it, but I mean, but they were really lax on it back then.
Yeah. That's kind of like the Raiders of the Lost Ark or something like that, where it's like, this is definitely PG-13.
Well, Temple of Doom is the first PG-13 movie.
Okay, there you go.
So you knew.
Boy, they took
kind of
advantage of that rating.
Yeah, well,
didn't
they rip a guy's heart out. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's another one that scared me stupid when I was a kid. Very good. What else you got, Clint? Anything?
I don't know. I'm seeking knowledge myself because I'm
Yeah.
not big on the Halloween movies, the scary movies.
Well, so it's funny you say that because to me, scary movies are better when I'm not watching them. Like I see a trailer and I go, "Oh, that's a good idea." Like I don't care much for slasher movies or like Saw. I don't care about seeing somebody get cut up or sawed in half. Like that does not interest me at all. And I know there are a lot of people that like that.
Yeah, but they're weird.
I like more of a spooky, ghost story, creepy type.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll see a trailer and I'll go, okay, that's something that I think I'd want to see. And then while I'm watching, I'm like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this? Why I don't? And then after it's over, you're like, hey,
I made it.
Now that the adrenaline kind of wore off a little bit, I think I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't even say that I'm much of a horror fan. I mean, I have friends where the original Halloween is their favorite movie of all time. And I went back and watched it, and yeah, it's good. I can't see how it's somebody's favorite movie. It's fine if it is. I just don't see it.
It's just nostalgia. There's no other explanation.
It's got to be, but I mean, it's held up over time. They're doing a new Halloween with that Danny McBride wrote.
Okay.
Who's Kenny Powers? I can tell neither of you know who he is, but Danny McBride.
I know that I've seen it in a credit.
He's
somewhere.
really funny. So the fact that he's writing this new Halloween movie, I think, is going to be a good idea. But I'd put that in more of the slasher movies rather than like a spooky story. Like the Conjuring movies lately have gotten a lot of run. They've made a lot of money.
So I'm wondering now. We're talking to a movie critic.
Yeah.
So as a critic, what do you want to see in a horror movie? What makes a good horror movie?
Good question.
For you?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I want to see something new, right? I want to see something that. I also like it when a movie follows the rules, right? So they set up these rules because a lot of times these are going to be fantasy or they're, you know what I'm saying? Like a ghost may or may not be real.
Supernatural.
So supernatural, right? That's a better way to say it. So you have to establish rules. You got to stay within the rules, right? I mean, if you cut the guy's head off and then he lives, that's no fun to me.
Okay.
But like vampires, which I'm not necessarily into the vampires or zombies or whatever, but you stab him in the heart with a wooden stake. That's a rule. So let's not.
There you go.
If you want to establish in this movie that silver hurts a vampire, but we've never really heard that before, that's fine. But just stick to that. Mm-hmm. So like a good movie, for example, that actually kind of breaks the rules, so I'm contradicting myself a little bit, is that came out not long ago, was It Follows. Have you guys heard of that one?
No.
Okay, it is completely frightening, but all it is, and I'll watch my words because I know that we like to keep it clean here on the podcast. I don't want any voicemails about this. Is that so you have something in you, okay, and things follow you. These people, they're trying to get you. And you can go as long as you want, but they're just going to keep coming until you lay down with somebody and then you give it to them. So like it starts off with this guy taking his special lady out on a date, So
you can think of it like a virus in a way.
It's
right?
like that.
Okay.
Right. And so it sounds like something that you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
Yeah?
it's like it does not stop.
It's called It Follows.
It Follows, yeah. So that'd be a good one I'd recommend.
That sounds scary.
That's kind of a low budget. Not everybody knows about it, but it's a good one.
Well, probably in this case, low budget may be better.
I think for horror movies, it almost is because I don't want to see a bunch of effects. I want to see more.
Yeah.
I want to see more creativity. I want to see people try to make something out of nothing. I think that's better.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think it could be one of the reasons why you said, what was that first movie?
Exorcist?
Exorcist. Maybe that's why it holds up. There were no effects. It was just a great story.
Pea soup.
Yeah, great. There you go. Great
but
story.
But you're right. Yeah, I mean,
And
now there's that deleted scene that completely freaks me out that they have now where she walks down the stairs backwards like a spider.
I've seen that.
Yeah, now that's not in the movie. It's a deleted scene. Now that took some effects, but that
sounds scary.
It's horrifying.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I don't remember that being an effect-driven movie. That's a story.
Oh, you're right.
That is a story-driven movie. That's an excellent movie.
It is.
You
I wish
know?
they would do more thrillers like that.
See, I like the thriller genre.
Yeah.
I like the thriller genre. I don't like to be just scared stupid.
Right.
But I like the intensity of a good thriller with a good story.
Sure.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Very good.
I got one more for you. What about just like a good-natured, fun Halloween sort of thing, like Rob Zombie would direct? He's directed a couple, I think, House of a Thousand Corpses.
He did the Halloween remake.
Yeah. So what's your take on that sort of thing? Just
now you're saying those are fun movies? That's what you're saying?
I'm saying
Clint's weird. Okay.
What I'm saying is he's sort of just reveling in the Halloween spirit every day of the year.
Oh, okay. Boy, that's a good question. I can't think of one off the top of my head. You might have just named it. I mean, it may be more of the Halloween remake that's scarier. They did a Friday the 13th remake too. What they've done is they've taken these older movies, and since things are just so amped up now, they've kind of put them on steroids. So that would maybe fit more of what you're describing. But gosh, that's a good question, Clint. Of all the things that I told you I could answer, this is the one that I did not prepare, and you stumped me.
Got it.
But really, honestly, I'm not a huge horror fan, so it would have to be something that.
Also, to be fair, it was a terrible question.
No, it's a good question.
It's a terrible movie too. I just wanted your
think
take on it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any of the Rob Zombie movies. See, that's too much for me. It's just I just don't.
The guy's name is Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
It's too much from the very beginning.
Yeah. I don't really like to see people getting hurt. Like as in like war movies or whatever, people get
Or like
shot.
Faces of Death.
I don't. Why would I want to watch someone die?
I don't know.
And I know some
I've
of them
never
are
seen
fake.
it. I had a good friend that was into that when it was a red flag.
I never had any interest in watching that. The only one that I ever thought would be interesting was the guy that got hit by the ambulance and then they just threw him in the back and drove off. That's the only one that I
don't think I've heard of that one.
That was one of the Faces of Death.
Oh.
I mean, if you're gonna get hit.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Very good. Jason, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, we'll have you back, hopefully.
Well, let's hope. We've got plenty more topics.
Yes, we do. Man, Jason is just a fountain of knowledge. So many other topics we're going to get to in further episodes. Give us a call at 405-730-8672. Tell us how bad that was or how great it was. Give us a call. Stick around because we've got Chara the Storyteller coming up next. Yellow Rose Amplification has been annoying neighbors since 2014. These high-quality, handmade tube amplifiers are at home on stage, in a studio, or in your bedroom, and they're built to last a lifetime. Yellow Rose amps are proudly built in Oklahoma with a Texas state of mind. Exclusive to the Topic Is Yours listeners, Yellow Rose is offering a 10% discount on their flagship amplifier, the RJC10. Check them out at yellowroseamps.com and enter the code TOPIC at checkout. The code again is TOPIC. Yellow Rose Amps. The Rose rocks. All right, welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. We are very fortunate today, whatever it is. We've got Chara the Storyteller back with us again by popular demand. If you missed her episode, go back. I think it's episode 897, something like that. It's called Chara the Storyteller. Check that out. She has a master's degree in storytelling. Isn't that right, Chara?
Oh, yes.
That's
absolutely.
Incredible. That's amazing. And as you know, we're here in the Halloween season.
Yes.
Tomorrow's Halloween. Very excited about it. So tell me, are you a Halloween fan?
I am a little bit. I can't watch scary movies anymore since I had kids, but I still like to read scary stuff.
Do you do?
I do. I love Stephen King.
Really?
I do.
Oh,
very
see
much.
I don't read scary things because I read at night.
Yes.
And I like to also sleep at night, and I know that they will never. They're mutually exclusive in that way.
I will admit, I once listened to one of his short story books on a drive during the daytime. And it was a long drive, so I got to the end of the book, and it was the middle of the day, and I was completely freaked out.
Oh man,
completely. But I don't really do that so much anymore.
And that's probably wise.
Right.
Probably
yes.
wise. Well, very good. So you've prepared a scary or a sort of scary story?
A little bit spooky, not
little spooky?
Not terrifying. This is okay. Your kids can hear it. No one will get overly frightened from it, I'm sure.
All right, good. Well, Clint, hold me. Okay. No, just kidding.
You stay over there. We'll be all right, dude.
All right. After this, we'll come right back for the mailbag. Chara Watson. Is that good enough?
They say there is nothing more certain than death and taxes. But I can assure you that death is far more certain than taxes. There was a poor man who had a wife and 12 children, and when the 13th child was born, he despaired of finding a godfather for the child. And so he went out on the road, and he vowed that the first person that he would meet would be the child's godfather. And so he walked down the road until he came upon a man who was standing there, and he said, "Would you be willing to be my child's godfather?" And the man smiled and said, "Yes, I'm God, and I will take good care of him." But the poor man frowned and said, You leave poor men to their own devices, and rich men get richer. I will not have you for my child's godfather. And so he walked off, and he kept going. And soon he came upon another man who was sitting under a tree, and he said, "You, sir, would you be my child's godfather?" And he smiled nice and slow and said, "Absolutely, I'd be your child's godfather. I'm Satan, and I can do anything. I can give him whatever he wants." And the poor man shook his head again and said, "No, no, no, no. You will not be my child's godfather. You lead men astray and destroy everything in your path." And he went on walking down the road a little further. And soon he came upon a third man who was standing there. And this man wasn't relaxed. He looked old and he looked worn. And he said, "Sir, would you be my child's godfather?" And the man turned to him and said, "I am death. I make everyone equal. I'll be your child's godfather. I'll make him rich and make him famous. Without me, he has a friend that he cannot fail." And so the man said, "All right. His baptism is on Sunday. Be there." And Death showed up and held the child during his baptism, and he became the child's godfather. They didn't see Death through the years. He didn't show up very often, but quite frequently the young man would say that he had seen him and had had a talk with him. And he never really told anyone what they talked about, but you could tell that he was very fond of his godfather. His godfather would send him gifts occasionally, and they were always just a little bit more useful than they should have been. Like the compass that he sent him when he was 8, that he used to find his way out of the woods when he got lost. And like the dictionary that he sent him when he was 10, that he used to win the spelling bee. And the bicycle he used when he was 12, that he used for a paper route when his father lost his job. And when the young man turned 18 and was about to move out into the world, Death came to him one day. He was out walking in the woods, and Death stepped out from behind a tree and said, "Godson, how is life?" And his godson smiled and said, "It's as sweet as the company I keep." And Death smiled. He said, "Come with me, I want to show you something." And he took him off into the woods, and he showed him a certain herb with a certain white flower. And he told him, "You can grind this down and make it into a tea. You are going to become a doctor. You're going to go and become the most famous doctor in the world, because when you walk into a patient's room, I will be standing there. And if I am standing at the foot of the bed, you will know that that patient will die. There is nothing you can do to save them. But if I am standing at the patient's head, at the head of the bed, then you may give them some of this herb and they will live." And indeed, the young man went to medical school, and he learned all that he could from physicians. But he had gained much, much more from Death, because every time he would walk into the patient's room, he could say immediately whether or not the patient would live or whether or not they should prepare for a funeral. And when he tried to heal a patient, they always were well immediately. And so he became very rich and very famous very quickly. So it was no surprise when the king became ill, and they sent for him immediately. He came up to the castle, and he walked into the sick room where the king lay out in his bed, and Death stood at his feet. And the doctor knew that there was nothing that was to be done. But he thought, oh, if he could just save this one life, if he could just take this one back. And he thought, surely my godfather will forgive me this one time. And so he instructed the men around to turn the bed so that now Death was standing at his head, at the head of the bed. And he gave the king some of the herb that he had mixed into a tea, and the king became well again. But Death was still standing in the room, and he was not happy. And he came to his godson later, and he said, "You do not cheat Death. You will not do this again, or you will pay with your own life." And his godson nodded yes, and he said, "I'm sorry, I will never do it again." Well, it wasn't long after that the king's daughter became ill as well. And they called the doctor to the castle and told him, "The king has said that whoever can heal his daughter can have her hand in marriage. And whoever can heal his daughter can have anything he wants. He can have all the riches. He can have anything he wants." And the godson went into the room, and he looked, and there was Death standing at her feet. But he hardly noticed Death's presence there in the room, because he looked at that princess's face, and she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, and he fell immediately in love with her. And every promise he'd ever made to anyone else fell immediately out of his head, and he instructed them to turn the bed so that Death was standing at her head, and he gave her the herb, and she was well. But immediately, Death scowled, and he reached out and put his hand on the doctor's arm. And the doctor opened his eyes and looked around, and he found himself in a great cavern. It was huge, stories high, with stalactites and stalagmites, and on every surface, every flat surface in there was a candle. Some of them were very, very short and guttering almost out, and some of them were tall and flaming bright. But each and every one was lit. And he looked around, and there stood his godfather, and he said, "Godfather, what is this place?" He said, "These are the light of men's lives. Every life is in this room." And he said, "Where is my candle?" And so Death took him, and he found a little shelf where sat a candle so low that it was almost completely out. And his godson turned to him, and he said, "Relight it. Replace it with another candle. Can't you save me?" But Death shook his head and said, No, I can't." But still the doctor begged. Still he begged and said, "Please, haven't we grown close over the years? Don't you love me? Haven't we been close?" And Death picked up a candle, a new candle that had never been lit before, and he reached down as though to relight the candle, and instead snuffed it out, and his godson was gone. Because you do not cheat death. Now, nothing is certain besides death and taxes, and so Death had another appointment. He made his way out of the cavern and up into a village, and as he was walking down the road toward the house he was looking for, he passed a woman who was standing on the side of the road who was crying. And she looked up at him, and he said, "What is wrong?" And she said, "I cannot find a godfather for my child." And he smiled and said, "I'll be your child's godfather. He who has me for a friend cannot fail." And that is the story of Godfather Death.
Hello, the guys want to hear from you. Call in and leave them a voicemail to submit a question or a comment for the mailbag. Tell them how great Clint is doing or how Dave is the Billy Elliot of podcasting. Call 405-730-8672. That's 405-730-TOPC.
We're gonna open the mailbag. We're gonna check some mail. Mail time.
All right, welcome back. It's time to open up the mailbag. Isn't that right, Clint?
Yes, thank you to Chara for that story. That was
It's incredible.
It was very Halloween-y,
Yeah.
spooky for sure, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm getting the Jason thing. Maybe I'm getting too old to hear scary stories.
Dude, I totally am. I'm scared. Just never approach death for any reason whatsoever. Don't ask death for any favors, because you're going to come out on the short end of that one. That's for sure.
That sounds like good advice.
That's just good advice. And then thanks again for Jason being here, too. Always a good time when he's here. And same here with Chara. So, all right, time to open the mailbag. We talked about this. We've opened up a voicemail box. We've received a plethora of voicemails, Clint tells me. I haven't heard any of them.
Is that the word I used?
Well, no, you probably said, "Hey, Dave, we got a lot of them." But I just added plethora because it makes you sound better.
Thank you. I could use all the help I can get.
That's for sure. But give us a call at 405-730-8672. That's 405-730-TOPC. Top. Let us know what's going on.
That's right. Dave's feeling a little spicy because he knows what's coming here.
I don't have the only spice I'm feeling is just fear, really. Just getting fired up because I just got a bad feeling about this. If Clint selected this one, there's a reason, and I guarantee you it's because somehow it's bad for me.
Dave, I'm giving a voice to the people. I'm letting them be heard.
Oh,
do not begrudge these people their
thank
only
you, people.
chance.
But seriously, thanks for all of you. Thanks for calling in. Keep calling. We're gonna get you on the. We'll get you on there sometime.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna play this voicemail. I don't know if we're gonna do this all the time. This one needs to be played.
Hello, this is Clarence from Orlando, Florida. Long-time listener, first-time caller. This question is actually for Clint. I was just curious if the topic is yours was the original title of your podcast, or if that was something you were forced to come up with on the fly because you realized how incredibly boring Dave was and that clearly the topic could never be his. So I'll hang up and listen, and please let us know what Disney character David is bonding as today. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Clarence in Florida. Oh man, Clarence, you killed it, buddy. That's hilarious.
This is why we have a voicemail box now.
Oh man, I'm in tears.
So people,
I'm in tears. That is so good.
Oh.
That is so good. Clarence, you just made my day, buddy. The topic's yours, Clarence. We got to get you on here. You want to be a correspondent? You can be a correspondent of ours anytime. Just call us back. That was so awesome. Clint, do you want to answer his question?
If I could remember what his question was. What was the real question? Dave is so boring.
It was
That's
a
what I
declarative
remember.
statement. Dave's an idiot, which you can agree with. He was asking why it's called The Topic Is Yours. Is it because you realized that I was such an idiot?
Basically, yeah. That's not the original name that we came up with. We'll just sort of gloss over the original idea.
I don't even remember the original idea.
It was the thing where we were
I don't think we should talk about it. But I honestly don't remember it, but I'm sure it was bad. Most of our ideas are bad, especially the voicemail thing. That was a bad idea.
I think that's one of our best ideas yet.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, so thank you, Clarence. Thank you for Jason and Chara. Continue to give us a call. All right, happy Halloween, everybody. Enjoy it. Have a safe trick-or-treating event. I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. But until next time, this is Dave and Clint. We'll see you then.
You realize how incredibly boring Dave was and that clearly the topic could never be his.